Hello, hello, it's Friday Night Live. Dr. Darya Ghafourpour here, your friendly neighborhood dentist. And I'm so glad that you've joined me once again for another edition of Hope, Inspiration, Good Vibes. I've had a really fun day today, a very, very good day. Just a lot of wonderful interactions with people. That's what keeps me going. That's kind of part of my driving force, is to be able to interact with people, and it's always refreshing. There's always a new perspective that comes my way. There's always a bit of laughter and good feelings, and I love my life. I love my job. I love my work. And so so there's been a lot of laughter, and so you might be noticing the title here, I am one with the Force and the Force is one with me. And I will get to why I've titled that this video that today. Part of what I wanted to talk about today has to do with the control that we have over our own inner world and how we can shift things around. And while we might be feeling stressed on the one hand, we can actually turn things around. And I had this very specific example of how I was able to do that, which still makes me laugh right now. But I had this experience with customer service yesterday morning. And as it turned out, I did have time before I needed to go to school. Hey, Brandon. Good to see you here. Woohoo! So yeah, now you're going to hear the details of why it was that you saw me type in that post. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. So if anyone hasn't seen Rogue One yet, one of the Star Wars movies, I highly recommend it. I only saw it last weekend. Okay, so it's still fresh in my mind. And there's this character, like the Master Poe kind of character. He's the blind guy that is one with the Force. And he's like a Jedi master, and he can't see with his eyes, but he sees with his senses. And he's like a mentor, a teacher, and he helps, battle and fight off the bad guys. And as he does that, he's saying this mantra out loud: I am one with the Force and the Force is one with me. I am one with the Force and the Force is one with me, in kind of a humorous way, because it almost sounds like he's reading the lines, like he's trying to convince himself that he is one with the Force, right? But that he is. He's like almighty powerful, because he totally pulls these like incredible moves that are just so cool and exciting, and he doesn't have eyesight vision, right? So I was on customer service for about 2 hours yesterday morning, and it was unexpected. I don't know. It's like they say the things that you should plan on taking a long time, things that just take way longer than you ever expect. You got to start adding these things to the list. And so one of those things is calling customer support, perhaps and in my case, it ended up being for, without getting into detail, but IRS and my QuickBooks software. So I needed to change some PIN numbers, and I wasn't advised that I needed to change those PIN numbers, and so I was encountering a little bit of frustration because my employment tax payments were getting rejected, when for years and years and years I always got an email saying, accepted. You're into it, payment has been accepted to the IRS. And this time it said rejected, and I was like, wait a second, I know I reset everything. I have some new ID numbers, and I had gotten help with my QuickBooks software a couple of weeks ago, and the person didn't think, while she had me reset everything that I needed to alter within my company file, didn't think to tell me, oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to file your taxes electronically. You have to mail them in. So I'm finding this out the hard way, and now I'm getting a little bit nervous, because it means that my filing is past the deadline. It's late, the due date was January 31st. So anyway, I had my coffee, and I was, hanging out on the couch. I knew I was going to have some time before I needed to go to school. And I'm on hold with one agency called EFTPS, and whole time is anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, fine, I'm doing other stuff. And then 20 minutes goes by, and then we find out, oh, we're not the people to help you. You need to contact the IRS. Okay, fine. So I contact the IRS, and I'm on hold for another length of time. And then she's not able to help me. But beyond not being able to help me, it's that I'm listening to her process of not knowing what to do. So, little tip here is, if you don't know what to do, maybe keep that to yourself while you're thinking it through, because it doesn't do the utmost to build people's confidence when you're listening to them going, oh, well, gee, and I'm listening to this, and not only am I going, okay, well, you don't know what to do, that's fine, I'm trusting you'll figure it out, but at the same time, I'm like getting impatient because I've been on hold for a long time by now, and I politely inserted, maybe there's someone else who knows what to do here that you could communicate with, but she doesn't acknowledge and tell me yes. So I keep listening to her, well, no, it's not that. And like, you're probably getting aggravated just watching me just going, And so I start, this mantra starts going on in my head, I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. But this chant got me actually to kind of calm my breathing down, you know, to just kind of get a little bit centered, a little bit focused, and be more patient, and just go, okay, I still have time, it's going to be okay. And I asked her again a few minutes, and she said, yes, I did message my manager, but she hasn't gotten back to me. Ultimately, finally, her manager gets back to her. I think by this time it's been an hour and a half that I've been on the phone, or close to it. And she says, well, you need to call your software. We actually can't help you. And I went, okay, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. All right. So I didn't want all that time to be in vain, you know, but at least I knew what number I needed to call next. And I had been doing that. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. And then just right before the end of the call, because I just thought there must be something, and I shared with her that I was a little concerned. I didn't want to get penalized for having a late payment, and she hadn't addressed that concern of mine. And it popped to me right at the very end of the call, and I said, but I really don't want to have any late payment fees. Is there anything that you can do to help me out on that? You know, maybe waive any future fees. And she said, you know, I'll do that. I'll put a freeze or a hold or something on your account of any penalties. And I was just like, yes, I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. So now, right, that put my mind at ease. And so so I get on the phone with QuickBooks, and I got this awesome agent. Like, she was just like, boom, boom, boom. She got onto my computer, and she had me click here, and she knew how to direct me what to do. And we went through things, even though that took another half hour or so. She knew what she was doing, and I had confidence that everything was going to be okay, which was awesome. So, yet I was a bit tense now, because now I had to rush and get ready to go to school, because I was thinking it'd take about a half hour. You know, I wasn't expecting 2 hours. And I wanted to call a friend. You know, I often make phone calls Bluetooth. Don't worry, hands-free, as while I'm driving, because that will tend to be some downtime anyway. I'm not supposed to do anything except focusing on driving, but I can hold conversations, and I didn't want to have a conversation at that time. I was just like, I still need to simmer down a bit. Like, there's too much going on, and I don't want to bring this part of me that's a little agitated to any phone call with anybody. And it came again. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. I was busting up. I started laughing while I'm driving, and I thought, well, that's a pretty good way to be. You know, it's good to be laughing while you're driving. And it really just pulled me out. So part of it was that I'm envisioning that character's white eyes, you know, the Master Po, you know, action that's going on over there in the movie. And part of it is that I know that what I'm doing is I'm chanting, and it helps bring our brain waves into a different kind of synchronicity, so that we can pull more of the things that we want that are in balance. We can get more in balance. That's what it does. I know a lot of Buddhist people who do chanting, and they've done chanting ever since they were young. It's like a normal thing for them to do. That's how they meditate. It's one way of meditating. And they're just centering themselves. They've got words that have meaning, not to me because I don't understand it, you know, the language, I'm not understanding it. But there's meaning that's there. And there's an intention of centering and of calming down and of focusing on the things to be grateful for, that sort of thing. And so by inspiration of this movie, And this, what could have been a really awful, stressful situation, only because I would have made it that way for me, for myself, I was able to shift around the energy, and I don't have to face any late penalties. I had a compassionate, caring person on the other end of the line, and I had other people who were helpful with me in QuickBooks. And then there I am in school, and something else was going on, a situation that I was just like, really? This hasn't been resolved yet? Like, really? This is like a month and we're still short of help. And it just seemed like people weren't communicating with one another that I assumed were communicating. And that's one thing, is that I'll trust that once I put the intention or the word out there, it's being taken care of, and I don't always remember to follow up. And for me, I'm at school once a week, and so once I'm gone, because I'm doing the rest of my life here, my dental practice, my personal life, I'm doing the rest of my life, and then I show up again a week later, and I think everything is fixed, and when it's not, I just go, what do you mean it's not fixed? So we were short-staffed, and I have been doing this. I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me on the way to school, right? And so I was speaking with someone who's part of our team, like she's like the treatment coordinator, and just the student care coordinator in our group. And she was like, you need to talk to Dr. So-and-so. I was like, okay, where do I go? Where is his office? And she goes, here, come follow me. And before we even get anywhere, she goes, oh, look, those are like the two heads that you need to speak to. And I looked, and they were there for me. I didn't have to go anyplace. I didn't have to leave the students. I didn't have to go finding another office and like basically depart my responsibilities here. Like I had an active audience right in front of me all of a sudden. Like it just manifested, right? I just manifested that. Like I believe I manifested that. One might say, well, it's just coincidence. They happened to be there. I don't think I ever saw them there before. Yesterday. I take that back. One of them I might have seen once or twice, briefly. But the two of them together, the two people in charge who control and who are, and wouldn't you know it, within minutes after my talking to them, we had the help that we needed, So I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me. So I encourage you either to pull that one out of your hat or pull another one out of your hat, any kind of chant, any kind of mantra, a positive affirmation. These are things that help you feel good. These are things that remind you that you are in control of what's going on in your life. You are not at the effect of the world. So with my customer service situation, I could have felt like I was like, poor me. I could have felt a lot of self-pity and, oh my God, this is how I have to spend my morning. I have, 2 hours on the phone and frustrate. But I shifted it. I was like, okay, well, I'm on hold. I've got some other things I can take care of on my computer right now. Or I can still listen in while I'm brushing my teeth or while I'm doing other things, And I could have gotten super upset and angry at the situation in school. Instead, I let myself be a little fiery because I felt like there needed to be a little fire because I had already expressed my voice and nothing had happened up until that point. I kept expecting something to be different and it wasn't. And it was just enough fire so that I was heard. But I hope I don't feel like I was rude or, out of line or anything like that. But these are just examples of things that you can do when you can recognize that you can control your situation, you can control the world around you. Then and even though things sound really bad and look really, really bad sometimes, you can influence what happens in your nearby surroundings, and that will influence the rest of what goes on in your environment and in your day and in your life. So I highly encourage you to consider that and to find what is it that you can do to help center yourself. Do a quick mini meditation. Talk positively to yourself. Speak positively to yourself. Find something that helps you feel good. I am enough is one. I am enough. We often have self-doubt and we don't need to. I am enough. I'm good enough. I'm strong enough. Whatever it is that you need to tell yourself so that you remind yourself that you have a good, standing in your life, good standing in this world, and you mean something not only to yourself but to others around you. And without you, this world would be so much more different. And, you would be missed. So you can give yourself acknowledgement, give yourself praise, and give yourself, your pat on the back, and say whatever it is you need to say to yourself so that you feel confident. Because when you feel confident, you are confident, and you can make things happen in ways that you don't even expect. And see, I chose to believe that I manifested those two people who were in charge to be right there in front of me. I don't have to think that way, and someone can say you're crazy. That's baloney. So what? It feels better for me to just go, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right, that this is what showed up in my surrounding. And I feel that way about the patients who come into my office. I feel like I'm doing something right, that I get to have so many great people coming in. And we just laugh. Like one of my first patients, Martha, because you might be watching. We were totally busting up because I was telling her that I am one with the force and the force is one with me story, and we were having our visit, and after a bit I was like, oh, something else that's good happened. Because she had asked, well, how are you? And I was like, I'm great, because I was feeling great. And I could just as easily go, well, I listened to the news in the car this morning and it was horrible, because some of it was. But I chose not to do that. Why would I do that? Why bring myself down? Why bring her and everybody else down? It was so much more fun to just laugh and have a good time. And what I got myself doing is I'd wait for a pause and I go, oh, there's something else that's good that happened. And she'd start busting up, okay, what? And then I tell her the next story. And then, and it was almost like internally I challenged myself to look for the good. And I made myself speak it out loud because it became more real. So that's another way of having a positive affirmation. So you can do your own inner affirmations. You don't have to speak them out loud. You can. A lot of times it lends a little bit more power. And you can speak out your gratitudes. And that's what I was doing today. And I do my best to do that throughout the day because it just makes life so much more fun. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I'm really grateful that you joined in. Thanks for being here, and I'd love it if you'd leave comments, click some likes and hearts for me, ask any questions that you might have, and if you haven't already, please like my Facebook page. I'd love it if you would do that. Darya G. Ghafourpour DDS on Facebook. Or maybe it's Dr. Darya Ghafourpour. Sorry, I know, it's the social media thing. It's a love-hate kind of thing. I still don't have that down exactly. And you can share this video if you feel that somebody else would benefit from seeing it. And go ahead and also see me on YouTube. You can hit the subscribe button so that you'll either be notified, or when you're on YouTube, you'll be able to check out my channel and see what else is there. So every week on Friday evenings, I'm here, and let's see, this is Super Bowl Sunday coming up. I may or may not be doing my dentist one on Sunday. I've done it a few times. Knowing me, I probably will do something on Sunday afternoon, even if it's just a few words. So thanks so much for joining me, and have an awesome night, morning, afternoon, wherever it is that you are, and I look forward to you joining next time. Bye.